सेव किया था ना?
मैं सिर्फ इसलिए गया था क्योंकि उसने मुझे कॉल किया, that's it. But listen तो.
Save it for someone else.
जिंदगी में सेव करना जरूरी है, मगर जब बात पैसों की हो, सिर्फ सेविंग से काम नहीं चलेगा। इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए और अपने सेविंग्स को आगे बढ़ने का मौका दीजिए।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Has India, the opposition alliance we are talking about, the 28-party opposition alliance, not the country India, not our country, that is Bharat, has India made a brilliantly defiant move by announcing a boycott of 14 prominent news anchors who they accuse of partisanship and hate-mongering? Or is it an indefensible misstep, a shot fired in anger, whatever the justification? Will it help their cause or the BJP's? We are discussing and debating this complex argument in this week's National Interest. However, before I cut into the body of the argument, let me remind you, it's been some time since I reminded you that the print only functions, not just survives, but also grows, is able to send reporters wherever the story is, from Manipur to Bangladesh to Sri Lanka to Maldives to deepest parts of India, because you take paid subscriptions. So please do take a paid subscription. Our audience numbers are rising every week. More and more people are reading us. More and more people are watching us. More and more people are also paying for us, but we need a lot more of you good people to pay for us. So please do take a paid subscription. How you do it, that will be shown to you on your screens now. So please follow that. Also, there is a link with the description of this video, so please do pay up, and if you are already a paid subscriber, please renew your subscription, because without that we cannot function, we cannot do the quality and kind of journalism that we do. At which point, let me get back to business. The first answer to all the questions I raised earlier, has India taken the right call? Have they just fired a shot in anger? Is it a mistake? Will it benefit them? Will it benefit the BJP more? Etc. etc. The first question, the first answer to all these and other such questions has to be a question instead. Who is a journalist? What is the definition of a journalist today? And who determines whether somebody is truly a journalist or not? This argument isn't about the track record of any of those TV anchors. As far as I am concerned, I am among the growing number of Indians who no longer see the primetime TV debate as a news product. In fact, I would go so far as to say that I think that TV news is dead in the country. Many still watch these channels. That's why they are running, and you see lots of ads run on those, and it doesn't look like these channels are short of money. So many people are still watching these. Some people watch these channels to see their favorite anchors bash the guests they detest from the other side. Some because these daily fracas are by now an addiction. And also because no option is available, because they're all the same. They're all minor variations of each other. But most others watch these channels for pure entertainment value. This very Indian genre of TV debate has done more to damage journalism than any politician or political party. We are in a situation where the richest media groups no longer send out reporters to research stories on the ground, where the news bulletin has disappeared, and where nobody plays editor on a TV show, as the star anchors are themselves their own editors. Who would dare to tell them, boss, this isn't appropriate or this is inaccurate? Forget telling them if something is fair or not. All of that, in fact, is the stuff that the editor is supposed to do in a conventional newsroom. But a TV studio is not a conventional newsroom. In a TV studio, the star anchor is the most powerful figure, and they are all their own editors. That institution, the institution of the editor who could raise questions, has faded away in news TV in the past 2 decades. The most perilous thing that can happen to a newsroom is the creators of its prime content being their own editors. This has been the norm on news TV. That's why each show is such and such anchor show, not such and such channel show. That's why probably India is naming and boycotting anchors, but not their owners or even their channels. This is a dangerous over-personalization of journalism, for which the greatest responsibility lies on the shoulders of the owners of these channels and owners who run editor-free newsrooms. It also lies on the star anchors because they are the ones who are enjoying it. They chose to keep it this way. They enjoyed the limelight and the power. They also get targeted as individuals. I'm not saying just desserts. I'm just explaining the phenomenon to you and why this is happening. Of course, India, the alliance again, India has not cast the first stone with this boycott. The BJP has done it forever, just more cleverly and silently. At various points, boycotts of this channel or that have been announced on Twitter by its leading lights. At least in one case, NDTV, it was formally announced as well. It is just that the BJP was more sophisticated about it. Denial or grant of access is a weapon newsmakers use across the board. It isn't limited to politicians, film and sports stars, corporate leaders, and sometimes even civil society activists employ this. In fact, if I take you back to the 2016 American election, that was a time when Hillary Clinton, much to her regret, used that expression, the deplorables, about people who were committed to voting for Donald Trump. Later on the Democratic or liberal side in America, a demand and a clamor rose also for boycotting certain anchors on the other side. It can't be anybody's case that helped reduce polarization in American debate, that actually increased polarization. As journalists, we will never endorse it. In the best of all worlds, all journalists will have fair access to all newsmakers, in the ruling party or in the opposition. But this isn't the best of all worlds, and our wishing can't change it. That's why we must accept that the opposition alliance is similarly within its rights, and I say it in quotes, within its rights, with that qualification, it's similarly within its rights to blackball anybody it wishes to. They can instruct their leaders, members and spokespersons not to appear on certain shows. What takes this to a debatable and questionable level is the fact that they named these anchors and published a list. The lists are always a bad idea. Those things do not end well. This is almost like painting a target on people's backs and publishing their names in a list. What is to stop the other side or the many other sides from doing something similar tomorrow? And what if those other sides do not stop at merely publishing these lists in press releases? What if they start putting up hoardings in their states for better quote-unquote exposure? What if some other who does it then says we are banning these people for being thieves, thugs, anti-Hindu, anti-national, whatever, anti-God, whatever? There is no limit to stupidity once you've unleashed it. Remember that principle we repeat often. Never knowingly set a bad precedent. It justifies the other's actions as mere retaliation, and the others are guaranteed to make it worse. The argument therefore cannot be whether these anchors are good journalists or bad journalists, or whether they are hate mongers or true nationalists, pro-BJP or merely market friendly. It is limited, the argument is limited to the wisdom of publishing lists like these, because you can be sure that this will be the first but not the last. Who is a journalist? What is journalism? What's good journalism or bad is an eternal debate. It's also true that many of these TV anchors promote the ruling party and the government and undermine the opposition, and also on their channels spread hate and bigotry. Unfortunately, it also sells in the market. And it is a good thing that we are still talking about it with such passion and debating it. Here is, however, something there is no debate about. There is no government, irrespective of which parties it is, that does not misuse power against journalists. Some use less visible methods like denial of advertising to those seen as not friendly. You and I know what that means. Every party at this point does it. This is combined with denial of access. Again, all parties do it. The third and the most dangerous is the misuse of the law, the police and the agencies. While we keep listing the excesses of the BJP governments, others can't claim to be holier than cow. That's not a slip of the tongue, by the way. The Mamata Banerjee government's arrest of ABP News journalist Dev Malya Bagchi is only the latest example. Almost all other state governments have some similar victimization under their names. Filing police cases against journalists on the flimsiest grounds, ranging from sedition to threat to public order, has now become a standard operating procedure. SOP for state governments. In this environment, how is India, the alliance, how is India trying to convince the uncommitted voter that it is any different from the BJP, which it accuses of communalism, high-handedness, vendetta politics and even fascism? Liberalism is the opposition alliance India's brand proposition as against what it describes as BJP's narrow-minded bigotry. This listing of its no-go anchors does not strengthen that claim of liberalism. Once again, this is not an argument for their journalism. That there is hate on many of our TV channels is a fact. That hate sells and is so TRP and market friendly makes it even worse. That hate mongering and the popularity of hate needs to be fought is a democratic imperative. It must be done. The place to fight it is the world of ideas and ideologies in public and political debate, not by, and I repeat that line, painting a target on the backs of your chosen few. Since his Bharat Jodo Yatra, Rahul Gandhi has been repositioning his party and by implication India, the alliance it leads, as Mohabbat Ki Dukaan, a shop dispensing love. In the run-up to the 2014 elections, he gave his first full-length interview to Arnab Goswami. He later said he wanted to first reach out and open himself to questioning by his biggest critic. Now his party says it will do just the opposite. Whether he was right then or his party and its allies are wiser now is something they need to debate within first. We can only say that this does not go with the proposition of Mohabbat Ki Dukaan. It doesn't help their cause politically or morally when all they needed to do was to instruct their people internally not to appear on these channels. They've chosen to make a public spectacle instead. Whatever it does for their politics, one thing it won't change, unfortunately, is the type and quality of journalism that these 14 do.